What's going on, guys? OGR here, back with a repeat 1K stream. What is going on? What's going on? Enzo, Brick City, Kurt Schroeder, Clocks. Thank you for everybody showing up. Thank you for my special content creators. Unfortunately, TSR had a heart attack right before we went live. Oh, he woke up. He's fine. He's fine. He took some bear. He's okay. What's going on? What's going on, TSR? I want to first, before I get into it, thank you guys, because you guys have always been my pals behind stream, on stream. You guys have always joined my streams. You've always been big supporters. So thank you to both of you, because, you know, without friends, you really can't make it in this YouTube world, if you will. So anyways, go ahead, say your piece, TSR, and then obviously Hub.
Congratulations again. For those of you that don't know, we did this last week. The stream was fantastic. OGR, myself, the Hub, the Kid Blue was there. But the fortune of the stream was a little too penisy for YouTube, so they took it down. But that means
a little too many Johnny Sins on the screen.
Stop bringing him out by name. But, you know what? I'm glad you're doing this again, because this is, I mean, it's really huge building block, because I feel like YouTube pushes channels based on their subscriber count a little bit. When you're trying to get to that 1,000, you don't get pushed a lot. When you hit 1,000, you get pushed a little more. I'm about to hit a certain number myself. I feel like that's going to help. And I just think as your channel grows, obviously it's going to bring more viewers in, but YouTube's going to push you in the algorithm. So I hope, I really hope this catapults you going into 2021, and see if we can double that at least next year, get you to 2,000.
Facts, man. Once again, congrats again to OGR. We, like TSR mentioned, we did do this last week. That was a very fun one. That actually went on for, you know, it was a good one, like hour and a half, maybe closing in on 2 hours a little bit. Really fun stream. Hope we could get it again. Shout out to everybody in here. Big ups to OGR, man. Like TSR said, it's only going to get better from here, man. So let's see where it goes.
I appreciate that. So let's say I had a couple people. Turban 14, Nikki, we love you too. All of us love you. Jaden Dawkins, what's going on? Jay Berman, Sundays. Sabrina, thank you. And thank you to everybody who has supported the channel, even if you thumbs down my video or thumbs up my video.
Hey, that still puts something in the algorithm.
I appreciate Greg Popovich, what's going on? Warrior, what's going on? Do appreciate a lot of people coming in here. Again, without you guys, this simply does not work. So do we want to have a little bit of a Giants discussion as we wait for another guest that I'm going to be having on? Because I do want to get TSR's brief thoughts on the Seattle Seahawks, and I do want to ask TSR if he's going to join me with the Hub live on Sunday, because we're going to be on Hub's channel, if you don't mind.
Yes, actually, cheap plug alert or an FYI to people that have been watching me and OGR. I've decided to have all the games done on OGR's channel for the rest of the season, and maybe even next season. The reason being is I just don't have the time to cover the Giants and the salad bowl of a channel that my channel is. And I was like, you know what?
Way too many tomatoes.
Way too many tomatoes. In your channel, I'm going to be honest, you need the minutes right now. You need the watch hours, and streaming live will help do that. So I was like, let's do them over there. And I was actually going to mention to you, I was like, you know, we all went on your channel for a stream. Let's go on the Hub's channel, or Kid Blues at some point. So if this Sunday's on the Hubs, I'm totally down for, or yeah, Sunday at 4, down with it. As far as the Giants and the Seahawks, I feel like this is going to be the roller coaster ride that doesn't end well. The Giants have sucked most of the year. People, a lot of fans, unfortunately, turned their back on the team. But now that they're winning,
like right after week 3,
1-7, I feel like a lot of people jumped ship. People were hating Daniel Jones. He's trash. Tank for Trevor. He sucked. I mean, it was just what happened with the fan base was really just not good to see. They've won 3 in a row now. And really, I think this division comes down to Washington and the Giants, because the divisions, the Eagles and Carson Wentz, are falling apart like nobody's business. Dallas destroyed with injury. So it's going to come down to us in Washington. Now that we're winning, everybody's behind the Giants, but I think this is where we go off the rails. Seattle's a good team with arguably a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Not arguably. He's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. And as much as I want the Giants to win, Daniel Jones doesn't play. And even if he does play, I think we're getting an L this Sunday.
And Hub, I mean, I heard your preview, but if you want to go over it a little bit, I mean, I kind of agree with the Hub on this one, but I'm a little bit more confident than I normally would be if we were like playing like we were against before Washington. The Washington.
Did you mean you agree with TSR, or when you say you agree with me?
I agree with you.
Okay, because my take on it,
on the way home.
My take on it is I can definitely see where TSR has come from. I would use that the roller coaster doesn't end well, not to describe this game. I'd be more comfortable using it to describe the season, but that's another conversation. For the Seahawks game, though, I think the Giants do have a really good chance. I think they're going to keep it close. Before I say anything else that could be misconstrued, I do think Seahawks are going to win if Colt McCoy starts. But I do think it's going to be really close. I should say when Colt McCoy starts, because honestly, even if Daniel Jones is healthy, I'm Joe Judge. I'm the medical staff. I'm still sitting him for that week. Give him. You don't want to risk. It's a hamstring strain, which I learned today was not a hamstring pull. If it was a hamstring pull, he would have been out for 6 weeks and season's over. It was a hamstring strain, which is why it's like a 1 week injury. He's going to be fine. Nothing too long term. But getting back to the game itself, I think our defense has what it takes to keep it close with Seattle's offense. I mean, we just looked at Seattle this past week go against the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles, I think our defense is better than the Eagles' defense. They had held Seattle down to the low 20s, and the Eagles are a team without any type of middle linebackers, and they have a very average, dare I say, below average secondary. I think the Giants are better than them in both aspects of that. And the game I always compare to Seattle game too, even before DJ went down, was the Cowboys. When we went up against the Cowboys, they were a more potent offense than Seattle is right now at this time of the year. And the defense didn't do its job there because we allowed them to score 30, but the team as a whole did their job. And that team as a whole back in week 5 is worse than this team in week, 13? So I think that we can keep it close, both offensively and defensively. I mean, if there's any game I would love Daniel Jones to be out for, it would be going up against the worst passing defense in the league. You know what I mean?
All right. Long-winded, but I like it.
Wow. Hey, Sub, there's a button right underneath your picture that says leave studio. That's what I would do after that one.
I'm joking.
Long-winded, huh?
Stop it. Anyways, I just want to get to a couple people in the chat. That being said, Cowboy X Factor, do appreciate that. Love you. You've been part of this channel, or been part of my channel for quite some time. Kurt Schroeder, unfortunately, no, I'm not letting people in. I know you probably just wanted to chat, but unfortunately, because of what happened last week, I cannot afford allow somebody in because of what happened last week. But I do appreciate it. Zachary, what's going on, my man? Appreciate it.
Carlos Jets here.
Carlos, what's going on? Joseph Balby, what's going on? Again, thank you for everybody coming in here, joining us. Thank you again, Joseph Clark, for congratulating me on 1,000. I do appreciate that. Kind of wish this happened last week because it just feels like not as special because it's already happened. But it is what it is.
You know,
it is what it is. Just roll with it.
Look at it this way. The first time you have sex with a girl feels great. The second time's going to be just as good.
Oh, my God. First time, best 18 seconds of my life.
Nice.
Backseat of my car. Anyways. So, Hub, what was your first time? No, I'm joking.
That's not a conversation for outside of backstage.
Do you guys know what Colt McCoy's record is, career as a starter?
I have no idea. I will say this, though.
21.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, the last 3 games he started, which was 1 last year and then 2 the year before, both for Washington, were all losses.
To his defense, he's been on some pretty bad teams, and probably, no offense to him, this is probably the most talent he's had around him.
I would agree.
I mean, there's been some bad quarterbacks with some bad records that go on to good teams and are able to turn things around. But
that would depend on how you define the Giants. Do you think? I think the Giants are, even though we won a couple of games, and even though I was just bigging him up, shout out to Tatum.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy out here?
Even though I was bigging him up, I don't know if I would call them a good team. I don't know. There's something holding me back. I feel like as soon as I call the Giants a good team, they're gonna just not be a good team, and they're gonna going back to TSR. That's where I would use the roller coaster for the season.
If I could just add something to that, OGR, you and I've called a lot of games this year, and I don't know how many times you said Daniel Jones is the whole offense. We're now eliminating him possibly from this game Sunday. Do you really have faith in the other parts? I mean, Darius Slayton hasn't shown up this year. The running attack has been decent.
They're going to need
Evan Ingram's, I don't know what to expect. He's going to drop 3 passes or make a great catch like nobody's business. I think Colt McCoy starts. This is a big L. Hey, what's up, Tatum?
Tatum, what's up, guys? Appreciate
man.
you stopping in. I do want to say a big thank you. You have been a big part of this channel, and all the advice you've given me on and off screen, I really do appreciate it. So thank you for helping me get to 1,000, my man.
Congratulations. You've been working hard. I mean, you've been doing this. How long you been on YouTube now?
Probably about 6 months after you, I'd say. So
That's awesome, man.
Almost 2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
So congratulations, man. You worked hard for it. I'm glad that you got here, and thank you for asking me to come on. I saw you in Bobby's stream, and I said, as soon as I get done eating dinner, I'll pop on and hang out with you for a bit.
Actually, you know what? I want to ask these two guys. I asked an interesting question in Bobby's stream. And to get the credentials, actually, it doesn't sound like it's that hard. I looked into it. You simply have to ask the Giants. I was saying, if a Giants YouTuber got to a certain plethora of popularity, do you think if they asked for the credential, the Giants would give it to them? The press credential?
Oh, nah, I don't think so.
How do I go about doing that? I'll try.
Yeah, like there's like actual paper. There's like legalities to that. You have to be in something that would be considered a formal profession, in my opinion, to get that.
Yeah.
But if you're showing you're making legit money and that you're reporting on the Giants regardless.
I get what you're saying, but that's not a formal profession. It's like such a new thing. Like it's literally only been here for maybe a couple of years. I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. It's gonna take a lot.
I don't know. Nobody's ever asked. I mean, there's probably legality on it that you'd have to look into, but I think it could be possible. You get somebody, 10 years
I think you'd probably need to be like 100K, to be honest with you, to get consideration.
I gotta keep working. We all gotta keep working.
You gotta keep working for sure.
Well, one thing I've seen OGR, doing a quick search online, I'm seeing stuff about NPAA, and I'm seeing a lot of stuff about how news organizations are ones that usually issue the ID cards for their employees to be able to go to. So that's where I think what Hub is saying. But I don't know. I mean, if you can do it, Tanner, by all means.
It was an interesting question. And it's kind of funny. Bobby Skinner from Talking Giants said, "You know what? I don't want it. I don't want it." I
understand that. I understand that because then you're kind of controlled, and you can't say the things you want to say. But I'll tell you what, they fire me then because I'd say what I want to say. So
exactly. Going back to what our favorite reporter Jordan Renan said, my only response then was like, maybe people come to us because we don't have an overseer on what we say or what we do.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Butcher Block and Patriot Talk. Don't worry, Butcher. I'm not taking your guest. He's gonna be coming on at 8:30. Don't worry.
So wait a minute, the Hub. You don't want to be forced to cover sports and push a social justice narrative or identity politics? That's not something you like.
That's not up my alley, nah.
ESPN.
You saw what Jordan Ronan said. No, it wasn't Ronan. Rather, it was Pat Leonard said yesterday or 2 days ago.
No, what did Pat Leonard say?
Oh, Pat Leonard. So Pat Leonard asked. I retweeted it. I'll pull it up right now so I could get it correct. Pat Leonard tweeted this out. You remember obviously the whole COVID thing when Daniel Jones and Barkley went out and they made a big deal about it when they went out to the restaurant or whatever the day after Barkley got hurt.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, I pulled it up. Yeah.
So Pat Leonard tweeted this out. I guess he asked Barkley about that night because I guess Barkley's talking to the media now, and this was his tweet. Saquon Barkley stepping off the national circuit to chat with the local Giants media refreshingly takes accountability for the Giants' players' maskless night out in Manhattan. He says, "I apologize," and says that's unacceptable as a leader. See, Daniel Jones, how hard was that? So this is like 7 weeks after the fact, and he's taking shots at Daniel Jones for something that he did.
He said refreshingly. As if Daniel Jones doesn't take accountability for the stuff that he does.
Well, we're in the middle of a winning streak. It's like, are you kidding me? This is almost 2 months ago.
These guys are just pompous, you-know-whats. I mean, seriously.
Like mainstream media, bro. That's why people step away from not just for sports, but for anything. They just always got to get their own way to get the clicks, man.
Yeah. Yes. Kyle Cruz, what's going on? I appreciate that. Thank you. And also thank you for being a supporter of the channel as well.
Bobby's mentioned it too, the MPPA or whatever. So, I mean, hey, you live in New York. I don't know. How far is Meadowlands from you, or MetLife? Meadowlands. Tanner.
I mean, when I was in Brooklyn, it's about an hour and a half.
Worth it.
Hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. Yeah.
If you go to the same and cover stuff, yeah, worth it.
Oh yeah, I would do that.
I know you would.
Yeah, if they give me those credentials, I would do it. As long as they give me a good salary and everything else, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
I wouldn't expect you to turn it down. Yeah, I got this YouTube thing going. I really don't want to, come on.
So what do you guys think about this game on Sunday?
Oh, we are. I was gonna ask you that because we literally right before you came in, we just gave our thoughts.
We kind of discussed it before you came in, so I mean,
Okay.
Let's hear yours.
I mean, I think McCoy's got to. I think they got to come out with the same game plan that they've had the last 3 or 4 weeks, even with McCoy at quarterback. I think it's got to be the same exact approach. I think you need to take. You can't be scared to take shots. This is the worst passing defense in football, and I think that they'll be able to give up sacks. They've given up the 4th most sacks in football. The Giants got to be careful when they blitz because they do have a high-powered offense. But I think the Giants will have opportunities to get after the quarterback and force some turnovers. And McCoy's going to have to make some throws, but it's going to start with the run game like it has the last 3 weeks. If they could run the ball and control the clock like they've done the last 3 and 4 weeks, they got a chance against anybody. But, of course, Seattle's going to – what they're going to do. They're going to stack the box. They're really good against the run. And if the Giants are going to win this game, they're going to win it up at the point of attack. They're going to have to be able to run the ball 3.5, 4 yards a carry and run it at least 35 times in this game to win it.
Yeah, you said I think it was you the other day. You tweeted you didn't want them Colt McCoy throwing more than 20 times, something like that.
25 tops. 25.
Yeah, same here. I want a fair, balanced offense. So I don't want to see more than 25 throws. If Colt McCoy's got to drop back 30, 35, or even 40 times, I think we lose this game.
OGR.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Colt McCoy throw more than once.
Wow.
I don't want to see him at all.
So you want him to be Lamar Jackson?
Football. We watched last week how that worked for the Broncos. So I'm just saying.
Do you want him to be RG3 TSR?
I just don't. I am hoping Daniel can play. That's what I'm really,
No, let the man rest, bro. What if he
if he's injured in any way? No, let's not risk it.
Well,
That's
in interest of full honesty, he's listed for doubtful for the game.
doubtful. He's
Go
probably
ahead, you had something to say.
Do you think they're going to get creative in this game and maybe do some wildcat? Do you think there's like out of the box thinking here in this game? Because I think there should be.
Here's the thing, right? I have a very interesting stance on that. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm like, there should be because we want to be able to score points. But at the same time, I'm like, if we're going to be relying on that to score points on the 32nd pass defense in the league, something's not right. I get that Cole McCoy is the backup quarterback.
Right. McCoy's the quarterback.
So. I was gonna say I get that Cole McCoy. He's the backup quarterback. He's in there.
Yeah.
But our offense
Guys,
should be able to score at least a couple of touchdowns.
Guys, give me 2 seconds. I'm sorry to interrupt. TSR, when do you have to go?
a couple minutes.
Couple minutes. All right. Just let me just interrupt.
Oh,
me.
All
right. Go ahead, Hub. Sorry about that.
I was gonna say our offense should be able to create something. And this is gonna be Jason Garrett's game for me personally to show to me, hey man, I can actually create some routes and make something work with this offense. Because you guys know me. I convinced myself the other day to give him another year just because of how crazy 2020 has been. But I'm still not convinced that I want him as my offensive coordinator.
I understand.
I've actually been up and down with him. To me personally, I've been up and down with him. And at certain games, I like it. Certain games, I don't. And I think I'd be like that with any offensive coordinator. It's because of Jason Garrett and the New York media. I think we over-criticize it. I know Bobby from Talking Giants is not a big fan of Jason Garrett, but I've been okay with it. I just don't like the certain play calls, like when we got down in the red zone, especially mid to early in the year, where we're constantly running that quick either wide receiver or tight end sweep. That I can't stand. Play calls like that have a tendency to repeat themselves. The other thing, but I do agree with Tana. I think they will go. You will see some wildcat. You will see some double reverses. Anything to throw the defense off. But yeah, go ahead, Tana. What do you have to say?
I'm with you on Garrett. I like you said, but it's not just Bobby. There's a lot of people that go out of their way to say that Garrett is just awful. I'm not. I don't agree with that. I think Garrett was given a limited offense to start the year. The offensive line couldn't block at all. And I do think the offense has gotten better the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think they've gone with a run-heavy approach. I'm not saying the play calling last week was great. It wasn't. There were definitely some questionable play calls, but I've been very you and me think alike, OGR, when it comes to sustainability. I don't believe in constant turnover, shifting offensive coordinators, shifting head coaches, especially when you got a young quarterback. You're going to fire Garrett and then bring in another offensive coordinator. Like you might as well just quit on Daniel Jones. Like if you're just going to bring in a new OC every year, like how is this kid ever going to learn?
Yeah, TSR, you want to add anything to that?
We've talked about, and I agree 100%. I mean, from living in Virginia for 10 years, that was the Washington organization, just flipping coaches and OCs every year. I mean, you look at Jason Campbell, different OC all the time. That kid may have had a chance to succeed, but he was a different coach every year. And if Daniel Jones ends up with that type of system in New York where it's not a different head coach, Joe Judge is not going anywhere. I think we all like what we see in him. But if it's a different OC every year, how's he ever going to find stability?
Yeah.
I mean, he's being set up to fail.
Yeah, that's what I worry about, man. And I know eventually he's probably going to move on, whether it's gets a head coaching job or whatever. Maybe that'll be this year, but I don't know. I don't think it's in the best interest of Daniel Jones to move on and bring in another OC in his third year.
I completely agree with you guys there. I was just going to say, I completely agree with you guys there. I will say, though, that point stands if the new OC that you bring in runs a different scheme. Like, you could bring in an OC that runs the same scheme or promote Jerry Shaplinsky from within to run the same scheme. My problem with Garrett is just creativity and making something happen and underutilizing his wide receivers. I've said this in the past couple of weeks, and I don't want Garrett to be fired because I'm completely with you. That means more than likely Daniel Jones will be stuck in another situation like Jameis Winston, for example, right? So I'm with you guys there. But Garrett severely underutilizes his wide receivers. Last week was a perfect example of that, even though most of them were healthy. I'm still not sure what happened with Darius Slayton. He was on the injury report. It seemed like, I'm going to guess, after that first pass, something happened, which is why he was literally not targeted again. But this game, I want to see him use Sterling Shepard and Golden Tate just a bit more. Not even Slayton. I just want to see him use the wide receivers more. I don't want our offense to end up where we're relying on our tight end play to determine the success of the offense.
Yeah. Kitchens is another one. I see Joe Clark write that in there. Kitchens has OC experience. At least he'd be from within the staff. I don't even want to think about it right now. I just want to think about going forward and trying to win this football game. But it's something that I worry about as a fan. It's something that I worried about last year. I think OGR said it too. He was very outspoken about it. Moving on from Shermer. Even though he wasn't a good head coach, we were worried about having to learn a new scheme in his second year. It's not good for a second-year quarterback. And to ask him to do it in his third year, there's going to be a learning curve again. That's just the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that's why you saw struggles like you did the first 7-8 weeks of the season. And that's now you all of a sudden see it coming together. I think we need to be a little bit more patient, but asking a Giants fan to be patient is like having my 3-year-old giving him a lollipop and trying.
You're talking about the same fan base that wanted to tank for a quarterback 2 weeks in.
Yeah. I don't.
No. Give them some credit. It was 3 weeks in. It was after that.
You're talking about the same fan base that said Andrew Thomas was a bust 3 weeks in.
Oh my God! I'm gonna tell that got me so heated at the beginning of the season because it's like he's a rookie. Like you could be a little biased with Daniel Jones if you want, but Thomas is a rookie. Like you really expect all rookies to be all pros their first season?
Yeah,
a lot of people do. When you're a first round pick, people in this day and age, the way you see first round picks just hit. A lot of people have that expectation, even though I think it's unfair and unjust.
Yeah, can't do it. You got to give him some time, man. The Eric Flowers, and then you knew you knew the media was going to jump on that the second they got the opportunity, because Eric Flowers was a complete bust for the Giants, and Giants fans in the back of their head are worried about that. The second he had 3, 4, 5 bad starts, they jumped all over. But thankfully, Andrew Thomas looks like a boss now. The last 4 weeks, he's been great. Yeah. Did I freeze?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you freezed a little bit, but hey, it is
frozen right now.
Yeah, hold on one second.
But TSR, anyway, were you going to say something? It looked like you were going to say something.
TSR, did you want to say something?
No, I was thinking about when the Giants fan base became so negative. I don't deal with them as much as you do, Tanner. Out of the 4 of us, you probably deal with them more on a consistent basis. And it feels like this year more than ever, like the negativity is just off the charts. I mean, we were all mad when Daniel Jones was drafted, but we all got behind him throughout last season. We were hoping he played well. And then this year, the way the team, everybody just turned so quickly on him, on the team, I'm not sure what's happened in the last year. If people are maybe just going nuts from being cooped up because of the 1-9, being stuck at home, being out of work, so they're just taking the rage out somewhere else and pointing at the Giants. But I just feel so much negativity. I mean, me and OGR have done streams, and Giants fans have said they've left other streams because it was too negative. And Twitter apparently has been an absolutely just terrible this year for Giants fans, being negative.
Not just this year. The first time I joined Twitter, I can't tell you how many people, the minute I saw what they were writing about the Giants, block. Like, dude. And then, especially during all the other crazy stuff that's been going on this year, block, not factual, block. It's been ridiculous. I probably have a good 1,000, 1,200 people that have just been absolute blocked on my Twitter. I don't want to hear I've even blocked LeBron James because he's ridiculous on Twitter. But anyways, that's besides the point.
You blocked the
LeBron
GOAT.
James.
Yeah, he's not the GOAT.
You said yes. No, that's it. You said yes. You can't take it back. You said yes, so that implies you think he's the GOAT. That's it.
You can't be the GOAT for a losing record in the finals.
I'm sorry. We're not gonna get into that.
Good
But that
job.
finals argument is always the most ridiculous argument you could bring up, though.
Jordan's the GOAT. There's no argument to be made. Jordan's the GOAT.
Exactly.
Listen. Hey, Tana, say your piece. Say your piece about the fan base, because I got a little theory on that.
The fan base?
Yeah.
What, the Giants, you mean?
Yeah. What OG? Oh no, what TSR was asking. I mean,
I think the biggest reason why we're so. I mean, first off, let's just say this. Most Giants fans are Yankees fans, right? Most of them. I so happen to be a Mets fan, but most of them are Yankees fans, right? I would say 80% are Yankees fans. They usually go hand in hand. Yankees fans are the most demanding fan base in the world. Like, they expect the championship every single year. I mean, if we're being honest. And I think that translates to the Giants. Even though the Giants are going through a rebuild, they expect excellence at all times. I think that has something to do with it. I also think you had a general manager that people hate. I think 80% of the people hate going into the year. And I think that they were pissed he came back. And I think they were looking for every opportunity to bash him from the start of the season. I think that has something to do with it too. And now Gettleman's doing a little bit of bashing back.
exactly. My thing on it is I 100% think the Gettleman thing has a lot to do with it, because people have hated Gettleman even before he was the Giants general manager. Like, since the first year he was here, people have been looking for reasons to get rid of him. But I think this, for the most part, is how the fan base has been for a long time. I think it's just because the existence of social media that you're seeing it more, which gives you the impression that it's increased. I think the fan base has generally been a negative one for a long time. Heck, you could argue that it was more negative about Eli within his first couple of years than people are negative about Daniel Jones. You're just seeing more of it. I think that's kind of the illusion created by social media. You know, YouTube included. YouTube is considered a social media.
Yeah.
That's a great point. You're right. We're more aware of it now than we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and go further even back in the early 90s.
Think about this. If Twitter was really big as it is now back in 2014, Odell would have probably been traded his second year.
Yeah, people would have been done with him.
Yeah.
It's why they say it's impossible to rebuild in New York. I mean, that used to be the phrase. It's impossible to rebuild in New York because the fans are impatient. And it's why probably the Giants didn't try to rebuild initially. And then they finally said, we got to blow this up in 2019. But with a rebuild comes losses. Like, when you rebuild and you do what the Giants did, you knocked it all down. You started building the house from scratch. So if you were being a realistic fan, what did you expect? So I get being upset because you've been a losing franchise the last 7 or 8 years, and it's the same way with the Knicks. Like, I'm excited that the Knicks are rebuilding for once. And as a Giants fan, I'm excited that they've finally done it the right way. They're rebuilding. They knocked it down from scratch, and they're building it up properly. So coming into this year...
Hey, Tana, to that point, even though I agree with you, a lot of Giants fans would argue with you that it should have happened 1 year earlier.
But we can't live in the past.
Yeah, it didn't happen. They should move by.
This isn't Doc Brown. We can't get in the DeLorean, okay? They made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes in their lives. People in this chat, probably some of them had DWIs. You move on. You live. You learn. You make mistakes in your life. I didn't, but I'm sure some people did. And,
I just like how you had to say, wait, guys, just to be clear, not me.
It wasn't me. But I'm saying people make mistakes in their lives. The Giants made a mistake. We should have rebuilt a year earlier. Are you going to live and dwell on that in 5 years? Are you going to say, oh, we should have rebuilt? Okay, we made a mistake. 2019, they rectified it. We started rebuilding. We're headed in the right direction. Let it happen. Let's give it some time. You shouldn't have went into unrealistic expectations, in my opinion, are the biggest reason for it. People come into this year, if they don't win 9 or 10 games, you got to fire Gettleman. They got to make the play. Like, how could you have expected that coming into this year? How could you?
That was such unrealistic expectations, by the way, coming into a year where it's like before the 19 even happened as big as it did, we had so much turnover within the staff and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to focus on a bit more positive, OGR?
Bit more positive. It's a round table. Everybody say hi to Bobby. Stop and say hi to Bobby Woodruff.
Bobby.
What's up there, Bobby? What's up there, Bobby?
Anytime Bobby sees it, I will stop whatever we're discussing on stream to say hi to Bobby Woodruff. Do not care.
Bobby's the best. I love Bobby.
But TSR, what time do you have to go? I know I don't want to hold you too long because I do know you need to go.
Oh, he sent me the link on my phone.
Does that mean you got to go?
Yeah, in a second. But when I want to talk about the fan base, I think sometimes you're just, no matter what happens, people are not going to be satisfied. You guys know I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan. They just missed the playoffs for the first time in 22 years. And some fans are just like, the team sucks, blah, blah, blah. They're horrible. What a terrible franchise. I'm like, there's like 10 players in the roster that are 25 or less. They're doing their first rebuild since they drafted Tim Duncan in 1997. And you're trashing the franchise? So a 2-decade dynasty wasn't good enough? What, 5 titles?
Man,
right,
as a
whatever.
Knicks fan, what I would give to be the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Evan Smith, what's going on?
All right. OGR?
Thank you again, my friend, because you are a large part of why I do grow on YouTube. You've given me plenty of good advice. And without your friendship, man, I don't think I'd be where I am, honestly. I do appreciate that.
Hub, I'll see you Sunday. Tanner, we'll have to work together again for more than 20 minutes.
All right, buddy. Enjoy your stream.
Go Giants!
TSR.
Go Giants.
Go Giants.
I gotta ask. TSR was in the locker room, but I don't see him behind you there. So what part of the locker room was he in?
No, he's part of the locker room that you can't see.
Okay.
You see how like where the wood begins on like the right hand side, or left, whatever. I can't even tell my directions when I'm like, I feel like a weatherman. So today it's gonna be cloudy. No, but anyways, yeah, he's over there. That's why.
Tana, are you like in a facility outside of MetLife? I'm guessing.
I'm always at MetLife. I sleep here.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Are you under Judge's desk? Can you give us
because I've never seen him take a COVID test. As long as I've been here, I'm always getting a cotton swab shoved up my nose every day. I'm in line with the players. Tana somehow skips it. He's there. What's going on, my guy? What's going on?
They like me too much. During
the day, go figure. I'm never on Tana's live stream during the day. I don't know.
I gotta ask you though, Tana, because you brought up a good point. We were on Authentic Stream last night about Joe Webb, right? Joe Webb being signed as one of the Giants, practice squad quarterbacks. If you could relay that to the people, I guess, for any of them that weren't there, that was a pretty good point because people are obviously that was really that's thinking out the box, and I'm like, damn, that might actually be why we signed Joe Webb.
I don't think it. I think it was. You look at the next 2 quarterbacks the Giants are playing. It's Russell Wilson. It's Kyler Murray. Very mobile quarterbacks. What better than to bring somebody in who could simulate that in practice over the next 2 weeks? And I thought it was a sneaky good pickup by the Giants for that reason alone. It prepares you for the upcoming opponent. I do think that's the reason the Giants brought in Joe Webb. And I think it was actually a pretty underrated move by the Giants, even though he will not probably be playing during the game. I think it will help you prepare for the upcoming quarterback because Webb is a very mobile quarterback.
Yeah, and that is a very good point, and that's thinking outside the box, and I love it. Bobby, no, I will not be bringing guys on tonight, unfortunately, because of what happened on Tana's stream and what happened on my stream 2 days prior. I can't bring people in.
What happened on your stream? I got a penis.
I'm going to give you 2 words.
It was
Johnny Sins.
Same thing. So same thing.
Yeah, same person too. I tried to warn you right when it happened, but once the name popped up, the image was already there.
It is what it is. It is what it is. That's why. When I stopped doing the call-ins, eventually people know why because of that. You got to start showing your face. That's my.
I remember Tana way back when he was at 1,000 subs. He stopped doing actual phone call-ins for a while because there were just too many trolls on the phone.
Yeah. Bobby's in here. What's going on, Talking Giants?
What's going on, Bobby? Appreciate it. Thank you, my man. I do appreciate it. And one day I actually want Bobby and or Justin and or both on this program. Especially when
shout out to Talking Giants. I literally discovered them through Tana and OGR. The best film breakdown, I think, on YouTube, yo.
Yes, Bobby Skinner does a very good bit. And you know what? Just in case, I'll take what Bobby's breaking down. I'll listen to somebody like Brian Baldiger or QB School. I tell you right there, he's right there with those guys. I'm not just singing the dude's praises. I really do think he's that good.
Yeah, he does a great job. He does. Bobby does a great job on his channel.
Yeah, and everybody, if you are a Giants fan in this chat, even if you're not a Giants fan, because I just think Justin and Bobby entertaining, go sub those guys up. Seriously, go check out Talking Giants when you guys get a chance. Oh, and bang that thumbs up. Really do help the channel out. But anyways, so I actually just want a quick Talking Giants is Baldy and QB School are my film heroes. Well, you're just as good, my man, in my personal opinion. You're my film hero. How about that, Bobby? You're my film hero. Especially when I see another YouTuber talk about how he watches film but never shows it. Anyways.
Who's that?
Online Big Blue. Not a fan.
Oh, God.
By the way, I don't know if you caught it. He did apologize.
I think I did catch that.
Yeah,
that was like 2 months ago, right?
Yeah, it was like a month and a half, 2 months ago. He put out his top 10 Giants YouTubers or whatever.
He kind of apologized.
He kind of apologized, but you know what? I am his single. He doesn't like me at all, so it's great. I'm fat. I don't know football, and I'm dumb. That's what he had to say about me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I love it. You know what? I love it. You know, I think online Big Blue. So yeah, I really do. Any publicity is good publicity.
I got a question for both of y'all, right? What's the percentage?
What's going on, my man? What are you
finally here?
What's up, Pest?
So I just want to let it be known. This is how much I love.
Oh,
he left.
Standing out in rain in front of a red robin that my wife drugged me to, just to tell him, congratulations, brother. I'm so very proud of you and what you've accomplished.
Well, my friend, thank you very much as well. I appreciate your channel. I appreciate, being able to work with you. Guys like you and the support in the community, you don't grow without it, simply. So thank you very much, my man.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to Kush. Shout out to YouTube Yoda. I'm not going to stay very long, but I told you that I was going to be here, so I want to at least be here just to show some love. I'm going to go back in before the Korean kills me, right? And I was really hoping that I'd be able to make it home, but it was just a stupid long day at work. I ended up meeting the wife here.
My man, no worries, my man. But I appreciate you taking the 2 seconds now.
But much love to all you guys. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Enjoy yourself, and let's go Giants, man. Let's go lock up this division, y'all. You guys take it easy, man. I appreciate y'all. I'll get up with you guys later. Deuces.
Let's get this W. Let's get this W.
By the way, Jersey Life for 6. I respect his channel. I just don't respect the person. He's got a good channel. I'm not going to sit there and say he doesn't.
No.
I still listen to it. And I'm just not a fan of him. So anyway.
I got a question for both of y'all, right? Yeah. Percentages. Because, Tana, I said if the Giants had Daniel Jones, they win. I say even without Daniel Jones, they keep it close, man. What's the percentage? Maybe you're a bit more optimistic than I am. What's the percentage that we actually pull out an upset?
And I want a prediction from you guys too.
I picked this to lose. I just did my preview video. I got Seattle winning 24-17.
You kept it close. You kept it close.
And I haven't even done my 6 things yet.
What'd you say?
I said I have the same thing, and I haven't even done my 6 things.
You have the same. You have the same score.
That was going to be the same score. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 24-17 Seattle. All right. So you're asking me what percentages I have it at if we had Jones and without Jones?
Yeah.
With Jones, I was going to have it near, maybe you call me a homer, 45-55 Giants. I thought it was going to be close because the Giants were going to be coming in hot. I know Seattle's defense has been playing better, but their defense has been a little bit banged up.
And they're out without Dunlap too, I think.
Yeah. So I thought the Giants could have went toe-to-toe with them.
You guys saw the injury report for them? It like spanned an entire computer page.
Yeah. I would have almost a coin flip game with Jones. Without Jones, I don't think there's no chance. I look at the way this team's been running the last 4 weeks, and like I said, if we could do that, and it's going to be a challenge, they're going to stack the box, but they stacked the box against Jones too. I mean, it's not like Jones was throwing for 400 yards on them. So if the Giants can establish the run, they have an opportunity. They have to find ways to create turnovers. I'll say 20% though. I think it does dip significantly.
Oh, that is a pretty big dip, man.
I'll go 20 to 25%. I would have said 45 to 50% with Jones, but without him, I'll go 20 to 25%.
What's your percentages, OGR?
I
know it's a weird question, but
with Colt McCoy, 30 for Giants, 60 for Seattle. And if Daniel Jones would have played, I'd probably be about 55-45 as well. I also don't think Seattle would be a 10-point favorite if Daniel was playing.
I see Bobby says he's got to run, but he's got his infamous score prediction, 77-0 Eagles. Giants, rather.
Appreciate that, Bobby. Thank you. Chris, no, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining the stream as well.
Listen, bro, if I'm going to tell you this right now. If Colt McCoy and the Giants somehow pull out a win, I'm going to go crazy. I don't know what I'm going to do.
If the Giants win this week, I mean, obviously it comes close.
No, Tana, I'm sorry. I'm saying it guarantees the division. If we beat Seattle
No,
without Jones,
I'm not gonna go that far. But if they win this week, I think it guarantees that week 17 will be playing to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you beat Dallas, you get in. That I'll say.
The reason I say it locks it up because that I think almost guarantees 6 wins. The 6th one being against Dallas.
I ain't gonna say we beaten Dallas yet because we haven't beaten them in forever. I'm not gonna take it for granted.
Fair point. But if we are at 6 wins, I don't see Washington getting 7 because Washington would have to get 7 to take the division away from us. If we're both up at 6, we got the tiebreaker over them.
I agree. I think 6 wins is going to get us into the playoffs. And so we only got to win 1 of the next 4. And the other thing I'll say, if we beat Seattle, the other thing that does, it makes it so you don't have to feel like you need to rush Daniel Jones back. Like if you beat Seattle, you're like, okay, if he could play against Arizona, if he's 100%, he's good to go. If not, rest. We're gonna need you. We're gonna need you for a potential playoff run. You don't feel as much pressure to get him back in there quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that sentiment totally.
That's my mindset.
So let's just play devil's advocate because it's fun to do. Giants win on Sunday. Find out, put out a win. Maybe it be 2017, 23-20, whatever it may be. How are you feeling that night? I mean, obviously we're ecstatic, but what are you thinking about division-wise? Because I think everybody in your division is taking an L this week. I believe the Eagles go against the Packers. They're taking an L. Even as bad as the Steelers play on Wednesday, I still think they
and on short rest.
And on short rest, I still think they beat the Washington football team. And I think Dallas is getting spanked by the Ravens because they want revenge.
They're also on short rest, and who knows what their COVID situation is.
Yes.
If we win this week and every other team loses, which I'm with you, I think they will. I think Dallas will lose to Baltimore. I think they'll all lose. I think the Eagles will lose to the Packers, and I think Washington will lose to the Steelers. That would mean with 4 weeks to play,
I think.
Well, with 4 weeks to play, if all that were to happen, the Giants then would have a 2-game lead on Dallas with 4 games to play, and they played Dallas the last week. So Dallas ain't passing us before that game. And if we beat Dallas and we tie, we would own the tiebreaker. So I would no longer be worried about Dallas. We would own essentially a 2-game lead on Washington, right? Because we have the tiebreaker on Washington. So even if Washington will get, essentially a 2-game lead on Washington.
That's what I'm saying. Washington would have to get to 7 wins.
If we win, I'm telling you, if we win this week and every other team loses, we beat Dallas the last week, we're making the playoffs. It's like an 80% chance we're making the playoffs if we even lose the next 3, but just beat Dallas.
I'm going to tell you this. If we win this week, I'm not only singing playoffs, I'm singing, hey, yo, listen, there's an undefeated team in the AFC and we making the playoffs, bro. Come on, bro. It's Super Bowl season.
Oh, I ain't doing that.
I ain't doing that either.
I'm gonna let my fandom take over. I've been so down the line this entire year, the entire offseason. If we make the playoffs, I'm gonna let my inner fan take over. My entire channel has been objective. For that split second we're in the playoffs, it becomes complete fandom and complete fantasy.
I ain't ready to do that. But if we get this win, I'm very confident saying we're gonna go to the playoffs. And I will say, if we make the playoffs, I think we'll have an opportunity to win 1 game.
Yeah.
I will say this
because I mean, who would be? So we'd be playing the. Would we be playing? Yes, we would be playing the 7th seed, and I don't know who the 7th.
No, we'd be playing the 5 seed.
Yeah, 4th seed hosts the 5th.
Yeah, so we'd be playing either.
We're gonna host the playoff game.
The Bucks.
No, we don't host the playoff game. No, it is 4-5.
No.
Yeah,
the 4th plays the 5th.
2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5.
And
no, 1 gets.
You're right.
2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4.
So there's only 1 bye this year.
Yeah, because there's 7 teams.
Because there's 7 teams.
Okay, I'm sure.
So they reward the best record, but we would play the Bucks, the Rams, or the Cardinals most likely. Those would be the 3 most likely teams we'd play.
Which honestly, I wouldn't mind playing any of those teams at home. Like
Listen,
all those teams have their inconsistent moments, and
Bucks or Rams, we have a good
teams.
chance. We have a really good chance against Bucks or Rams, who are really battling out for that 5th, 6th spot right now.
1 week at a time, though. We got Seattle first.
I agree.
No, I know we're not trying to count too, but I
agree.
didn't want to play devil's advocate.
1 week at a time. 1
I
week at
gotta
a time.
ask though, Tana, what would it take for you to start singing Super Bowl? For me, all it takes is me being in the playoffs, and I'm
One
like, yeah.
playoff win, I think we're playing Super Bowl.
If we here's
What
where
would it take? That's what I'm asking.
For
What would it
me,
take?
for me to believe we have an even slight chance to win a Super Bowl, we would have to get to the NFC Championship game. I would have to see us win the wild card, a home game, in which I think we're probably a 40% chance to win that, 45%. Then have a monumental upset in the second round on the road against probably the number 1 seed, if not the number 2 seed, which would either be the Packers or the Saints. If we won that, then I would say, yeah, anything could happen. It would take 2 playoff wins for me to believe that that's even a small possibility.
And to clarify to the chat, I'm not saying I believe in Super Bowl yet. I'm saying if we make the playoffs, then I'm going to start getting out the believe jerseys and believe stuff like that, man.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, why wouldn't you at that point? I mean, actually, by then, let's have an interesting question. Actually, no, I'm not even going to bring up this question because I was just thinking about it. I was like, do you think they allow at least 2,000 fans into the stadium? But the way
they not allowing any, if the Giants were going to allow any fans, they would allow.
Well, no, but the Super Bowl's in Tampa.
No, not Super Bowl. I'm saying Giants, the home playoff game.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Which would be really, really sad. Damn.
Yeah, I don't think so. When's the last time the Giants had a home playoff game? It was 2000 actually their last Super Bowl. They had a home playoff game, the first game against who'd they play? The Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last time they had a home playoff game.
Oh man, that game was so funny. After that safety, I was so pissed, and then obviously we go on and beat the shit out of them.
yeah, we shut them down in that game. But outside of that, though, we didn't have any home playoff games in the other Super Bowl run.
Yeah. That's why Eli is known as the god of away playoff games.
Yeah, and did we play a home playoff game in 05 or 06? We played Carolina, I know, in 05. And we played the Eagles in 06, right? I don't remember either one of those were home playoff games. Were they, OGR?
And 05 or 06?
Yeah, we won 11.
No, we did not have any because we
didn't win the division in 05. We won 11-5. We didn't win the division with 11-5.
We didn't win the division.
Okay.
Because we ended up Dallas won the division because we ended up playing Dallas for the third time.
So we've only played one home playoff game since like
the past 20 years.
2002.
What's going on, my man? I appreciate you coming in.
02 was on the road also, right? Against the Niners. That was on the road. I think, right? And at 2000, we obviously had a ton of home playoff games. But since we've only had 4 home playoff games since 2000?
We're a good traveling team, man. Or at least historically.
It's crazy.
It's nuts, actually.
Hey, you know what they say, travel, guys? Defense. And how about our defense?
By the way, I want to say hello to Pumpkin. I saw him in my stream last night after the fact. I was watching my replay for a little bit just to see all the trolls in the chat, and I missed him. So he's been one of my best subscribers for a long time. I wanted to
I love Pumpkin as well. I don't call him Pumpkin. I can't even say Pumpkin anymore. I just say Pumpkin. LA Lou, what's going on? I didn't scroll down on chat, so I'm just kind of catching up on some people popping in here. Do appreciate you guys for joining chat. It's actually kind of blown up for me, so I do appreciate it, guys, for everybody coming in and hanging out with me for an hour or so. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations, man. You deserve it.
Well, I mean, again, thank you guys for being a part of it. I mean, again, the Giants community has been great, and I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm glad I can have a lot of good friends in here and be able to call on you guys. Hey, do you guys mind celebrating with me and whatnot? Because, I mean, without you guys, again, I mean, I hate to quote Mark Holmes, but I've been saying it for the last 2.5 weeks. Without you, it simply does not work. So, again.
That is what Mark Holmes says, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so somebody told me last night you sound like Mark Holmes because I was saying thank you to people. I'm like, shouldn't every YouTuber say thank you to their subscribers?
Yeah,
isn't that like what you should do?
I hate YouTubers that just straight up talk down to their subscribers.
Yeah, shouldn't you be?
That's not just that's like YouTube wide. That's not sports thing. That's just YouTube wide, and you see it. And I'm just like, damn, bro, you're the reason. They're the reason you exist. Should be a bit more appreciative.
I know exactly. I mean, without an audience, you literally don't do anything on YouTube. I mean,
yeah.
And I appreciate it. I don't care if it's one person viewing me or 1,000. It's a blast. I mean, 1,000 is kind of cool. I mean, I did have that a couple times there with TSR and those UFC streams.
You had 1,000 people. You had 1,000 people in there.
Yeah, we for the Khabib Nurmagomedov fight, the UFC 255. We had well over 1,000.
That's the one where he retired, right?
Yeah. That was awesome. I mean, so many people are like, "Where's the link? Where's the link? Give us the link!" And it's like, "Yo, we're just calling this."
That's the best when you get those people. Yeah, come on. Like you. What's going on, Jimmy? Man, thanks for popping the stream, buddy. What's going on, LA Lou, Jersey Life? We got some of our best.
Yeah,
supporters.
TD. Yo, shout out to everybody, man. Y'all are great.
Jaden's in here. Sabrina's in here. Chill Daddy. Thank you guys for being here. NFCs for next year, Jaden says.
UFC Jaguar, what's going on? Probably one of the best Jaguar fans on YouTubers. And
You say Jaguar? I just noticed you say Jaguar.
What's the proper way to say that? Because some people do say Jaguar. I say
it's Jaguar or Jaguar. I mean, which one?
I say Jaguar, so I'm wrong.
Yeah.
No, I say Jaguar because I think. Listen, I'm based off of my home country. I'm from Guyana, South America. The national animal is jaguar. We say Jaguar, so I'm gonna just roll with Jaguar.
I don't know. I say Jag. I'm just rolling with what I say. I know a lot of people do say Jaguar though. Pumpkin says, "Doing good, fellas. Just sucked the last few weeks on Chris's chats. I guess Google will ban you if they think you're throwing around spam. I never do. That's weird. You got banned by Google? You didn't get banned by one of my mods. You got banned by Google?
I've seen a couple people saying that. I don't know if that's actually a thing or I'm not saying Pumpkin's, Punkum is lying or anything, but I've seen a couple different accounts saying that they got banned without mods banning them.
That's weird.
JMA Entertainment says Giants 2021 wide receiver from Florida State, Timon Terry. Any thoughts? You guys probably know better than I do. I know Nate, the Giants fan you had on last week, was really high on him. So
yeah, Nate loves him. He's tall, he's fast. I've watched some highlights because Nate told me to. Yeah, he's definitely he's not a first round guy, but maybe a guy you get in the second or third round that maybe we could be looking at.
We have enunciations in chat if you need it.
Jag, you are.
I say just Jaguar.
Just say the Jags. Keep it
just like I say water and ketchup. I say Jaguar.
Oh man, I do appreciate it. What was I gonna say now?
Oh, you were asking about the wide receiver.
No. We kind of already touched on the wide receiver, but the guy I love is the guy out of Minnesota. Why is his name?
So we're talking like guys that won't be going in the first round. Then I'm guessing.
No. Minnesota. He probably will be going. Why can't I think of his name right now? Jesus, it just slipped my mind.
I haven't been doing near enough research on the draft because I've just been so infatuated with the season.
Yeah, Tana, I would correct that statement. I would just say I haven't done research, not near enough, because it implies you're supposed to be. Enjoy the season. Same here. I haven't even looked at any prospects like that yet. And this time last year, I was knee deep.
Freaking forgot his name. Thank you. I appreciate that, AMG Sam. I could not think of Sharp Bateman. Dude destroyed my Nittany Lions last year, although they're getting destroyed this year. They're 1-5 on the season.
I don't know if I've gotten your opinion, though. Just briefly talking draft. What do you think our biggest need is in the draft in the first round, OGR? I think I've talked to the Hub about it. I don't think I've ever talked to you about it.
So biggest need coming into the season, it was edge rusher. I still think it's edge rusher, but CB2 is a real close one.
That's my biggest. I think this defense, we need that other really good corner. I think it makes everything else go. I think they could find ways to generate pressure, even if they get, an edge rusher that they feel fits the scheme in the third or the fourth round. I think they need to emphasize that second cornerback spot, but we definitely need a wide receiver as well.
Yes. JMA Entertainment has been spamming Terry and Whiteout. So, yes, yeah. I can't fault somebody for saying that. And then my low key, my homerness of my Nittany Lions, I keep saying either Micah Parsons or.
You love Parsons. A lot of people love Parsons.
Yeah, I always keep saying Parsons, and then I say Pat Freiermuth as well, and a lot of people hate when I say that.
Shout out to Vance Billow in there, but I mean, honestly, defensive end or just edge rusher in general, like a lot. I think all of us probably had that as our top need going into the season. Now it's down there, but it's a three-way tie for me between wide receiver, cornerback, and linebacker. The only reason I would go wide receiver right now is just because I feel like we need that star player that can make an immediate impact, and I still think we could get a really good cornerback 2 in the second round that could fill in, and then maybe even if you really want, you could get a really good linebacker at the second pick if you don't want to go corner. But I think if I had to rank them, I'd go wide receiver, corner, linebacker, edge.
Yeah, I'm going. It's quite what I'm going corner, wide receiver, edge, but it's close for me. There, it's very close. Very all
Also,
three.
linebacker would be the below edge for you.
Yeah. Oh.
I will say right now it depends on how the rest of our core performs. Because honestly, if we have a rotation at second middle linebacker that works out, I'm fine with that. If it's a rotationary, not necessarily one guy there.
Yeah, that's close for me, man. That's close. I'm all gung ho about the corner. I really am. I like if I'm the GM and there's a really good corner there, I'm taking him. Like that. I think that's what our defense needs more than anything.
All right. So real quick, I want to know what you guys think for tight end situation. Do we sign Evan Ingram? Do we draft a young tight end?
We already signed him.
We have him on the 5th-year extension.
We extended him.
We have him on the 5th year. Oh, well, then. Well, regardless, do we draft another young tight end, or do we sign another tight end in? Because I just don't see him staying here. I don't see him being a long-term person for the Giants.
Not this offseason. I think you roll with him. You roll with him on the 5th year.
Yeah,
if you let him walk, you let him walk. I honestly can't see the Giants giving him like a second. I really don't know. This man would have to have like one of the best tight end seasons ever for me to see the Giants giving him a second contract. But with the whole tight end situation in general, I'm gonna just let it play out next year, and then next offseason I'll think about drafting another one or picking somebody up.
Never say never though, because when the Giants traded for Leonard Williams, there probably weren't a lot of people that thought that we'd be talking about that we need to extend this guy to a $16-17 million a year contract. So never say never. Everyone goes out there, bowls out, plays like George Kittle next year. You never know. I'm not saying he's going to, but I do think Evan Ingram will get another year with the Giants. I'd be
the 5th year, right? Or are you saying on top of that?
No, the 5th year. Yeah, the 5th year. Next year. I don't think we're going to cut him. I don't think we're going to trade him. We may trade him mid-season next year. Hopefully not, because that probably means we're sellers instead of buyers. But I could see that being a possibility. But I think he definitely starts the year with the Giants next year.
All right, and Frankie G's got an interesting question. He says, OGR, what do you think about Sam Darnold to Washington to learn under Alex Smith, just like Patrick Mahomes did? Would you be happy that if he's there, or scared? I'd be happy. I'd be ecstatic. I
want to modify that question. What do you guys think happens with Sam Darnold after this year?
Somebody's going to give him a chance.
Somebody is going to give him a chance. I don't see it being the Washington football team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as down on Sam Darnold as some other people. I think the Jets completely screwed him. Like, they gave him nothing.
Who had a worse situation? Josh Rosen with the 2018 Cardinals or Sam Darnold with the Jets? You talk about two guys that just got obliterated by their team surrounding them.
I'd say Josh Rosen, because I don't even think he ever really has had a fair shake, period. At least Sam Darnold had a shake.
People forget last year Sam Darnold had a winning record with the Jets. He was 7-6. He missed the first 3 games. There's a team that's 0-16 this year, but they're awful. I mean, with all the trades they made in the offseason. So I think somebody's going to give Darnold a shot. He's not making a lot of money. He's still a guy that was thought to be a really highly regarded prospect coming out of college.
He's thought to be the best one because of his youth. I just see, shout out to Nate. The comment just popped up for me that he's so young. One of the reasons that a lot of people thought he was the best coming out of that draft is because I think he was the youngest coming out of that draft.
Yeah, somebody's going to give him a shot. It might be the Saints. It might be the Steelers. I think both those teams could make sense, being that they got aging quarterbacks, and they're probably going to be picking at the back of the draft. Obviously, the Colts. Maybe the Cowboys. Who knows? Somebody's going to give him a chance. I don't know who though. I would think anyway.
I don't mind the Colts. Colts is actually a decent one. I'm trying to think of another QB needy team. What about the Cleveland Browns?
Mayfield's winning though, and I'm not a Mayfield guy, but they're 8-3, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you watch them play, and it's just like it doesn't feel like a solid 8-3. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like you're going to get bounced in the first round.
Do you feel like the Browns are going to pull a Browns anytime soon?
I think the Browns against us. I just don't see who they've played that I'm just like impressed by who they beat.
I think we could beat them. I'm not proclaiming we're going to beat them. The Browns don't scare me. I know here's the thing with the Browns. They have a great run game. They have a great offensive line. They have a great run game. If they run against us, we're not going to be able to beat them. But that's our strength too. So it'll be strength against strength. But if we could force Mayfield to pass with Patrick Graham, he'd come up with some creative ideas.
I want James Bradbury to dominate that game if we force Mayfield to pass, man.
We could create some turnovers if we could stop that run.
Did you guys? Was it last week? Did you guys see the pass in the end zone? He had a wide receiver wide open. He completely overthrew him.
Yep, I saw it after the fact. Yep, it's great.
So Tyson Urban has obviously a Washington football team fan. He says, "Why do you think Carson Wentz has regressed? Is he finished in Philly?" I don't think he's finished in Philly, but his regression is a lot a part of the pieces around him. I just think he's having a bad season, and it's exacerbated by the injuries. I really just don't think he's all of a sudden just terrible quarterback. He's just having a really bad season, and because of the numerous injuries and the weapons around him, I just think that's why you're seeing it. And I think he's trying to do too much. That's the other thing. You see him holding onto the football, holding onto the football, holding onto the football. He's got ahead of that. He's smart enough to know to have that internal clock in his head to get rid of the football. And you don't have a good offensive line. I mean, there's just numerous problems. You have a head coach that's not willing to commit to the run. A good run game is a quarterback's best friend. And that's what the Eagles were doing last year. They were running the football at least somewhat.
The play calling's been disgusting.
The Super Bowl year when they were like number 2 or 3 in the league in terms of rushing offense in 2017.
Absolutely. But anyway, you guys have any more to add?
I think it's mental. I think a lot of it's mental with Carson Wentz. I really do. I think he's lost confidence. I think that Hurts pick really shook him a little bit. I really do believe that. And I think their offensive line is horrible. But I'm not trying to make excuses for him, though, because he's looked really bad, too. Even without, he's definitely looked horrible. But I think a lot of it's mental. And being confident as a quarterback is as important as anything else, And I think the Eagles going out there drafting Hurts really screwed with his confidence. I really believe that.
Well, I completely agree with y'all. I think confidence is down. I really think the talent around him and the situation right now in the Eagles, they're just not a good team. Offensive line is absolutely terrible. There's literally no weapons. I think a lot of it has to do with factors that aren't directly related to him. And then, of course, you throw in the play calling. So I agree with basically everything y'all said. What do y'all think about that the Eagles are stuck with him unless they find a trade partner to help get his contract off the books? But the Eagles are basically stuck with him. What do you think about maybe him somehow, some way in a fantasy world, getting back with Frank right over there at the Colts? Because Phillip Rivers, would he not be gone this year?
It's possible. I mean, maybe the Colts, they get him pennies on the dollar in terms of a trade because the Eagles just want to get rid of his contract. It's possible. If I'm the Colts, I'm probably not doing that. I'm probably going out there either trying to draft a quarterback or bringing somebody that's much more affordable, like we said earlier with Darnold. I mean, I think Wentz could be in big trouble right now. I mean, he's had injuries. I think, we saw the same thing happen to Mark Sanchez. Not that Sanchez was ever what Wentz was, but the Jets screwed with Sanchez, and it really affected him. You saw him, he went to 2 NFC championship games. People forget that. And then the Jets went out there. They got cute. They go and they bring in Vic. They bring in Tebow. They screwed with his head, and he was never the same after that. I'd be worried, man, if I was an Eagles fan with Carson Wentz. I really would be.
So JMA says something. He says, in 2021, what game would you consider coming to see? I need to show you guys around. I'm from East Rutherford.
Hey, Woo-hoo. Nice. Let me pull up our opponents. Does anybody know our opponents off the top of their head?
Well, it depends. It depends who we're playing as far as if we finish first place, obviously we're going to play a first place schedule. So you're playing all the other first place teams from the NFC.
Right.
And so then obviously for me personally, I want to watch an Eagles and Giants game at Giants Stadium. That's the game I want to go to. Because like this year, if we were going to do a Giants meetup, we were going to the Cleveland game. There was no other game we were going to the Cleveland game.
So right. I have it pulled up. There's only 2 teams right now that haven't been announced, and that's whoever we play from the NFC West and whoever we play from the NFC North. That would be, like you said, depending on where we finish on the schedule. Outside the NFC East, we'll be facing Kansas City, New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, Denver.
Yeah, we're playing the West, and we're playing the South.
Tampa Bay, Vegas. And this is going to be, what is this, 4 or 5 years in a row now that we play Tampa Bay?
But the other thing, we got to find out where we finish in the division. Because if we, let's say we win the division, okay, that would mean we're going to play Green Bay because they're going to win the North. And we would play, who's the other, the West? Well, we're playing the South, right? So the West, probably the Seahawks. We'd probably end up playing Green Bay and the Seahawks next year. That's not that easy. But if you look at the other divisions, you look at the NFC South, the Saints are still really good. Great 53-man roster, but who's going to be the quarterback? Breeze might not be there. Panthers, they're not that good. Falcons, complete rebuild mode. And the Bucks, Brady's going to be 9,000 years old. And then the AFC West.
We almost beat him even now. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then the AFC West, you'd have the Raiders, who knows? They're like Jekyll and Hyde right now. You'd have the Broncos, who suck. You have the Chargers, who everybody's going crazy about. Like, how many wins does Herbert have? 1, 2?
I will say this, Tanner. The Chargers, I feel like the Chargers, in terms of their 3-win record, I feel like are similar to the Giants in the sense that they've been in a lot of these games.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why people are excited for next year.
They were with the Chiefs, but they're beatable.
Mm-hmm.
And then even though we never beat them, I don't think we ever beat Phillip Rivers. Did we ever beat Phillip Rivers, OGR? I don't think we did.
No, we didn't. I don't think we did.
We haven't beaten the Chargers in a long time. And then the Chiefs, of course. But I don't think those divisions are nearly as hard as the divisions we played this year. But then you factor in if we get a first place schedule, it makes it much more challenging. If we get second place, the NFC North winner is second place is gonna be like the Vikings instead of the Packers. And you'd be playing in the West, you'd be playing like the Rams instead of the Seahawks. So that's a big difference.
But what game would you go to out of the ones that have been decided? So exclude the West and the North game that are undecided. Which game would you go to?
If KC comes out East, I definitely want to go see Patrick Mahomes. Like, how many times I'm really going to get to go see Patrick Mahomes? I'd go see that one. Or again, like I said, the Eagles game would be one of the things. Because I'd actually like to meet up with the Eagles contact.
I'm telling you right now, I've said I want to do one home game, one road game. That's my goal going forward. That's what I want to do. If there's full capacity and we feel like it's safe enough to do that and get people to be able to do that. But
I think we will, because I think the vaccine will be out.
I hope so. And if that's the case, if we're playing in Vegas, I want to go to that game. That's the road game I want to go to.
Vegas is. Everybody talks about SoFi Stadium. I'm a bigger fan of Allegiant Stadium. I love the way. I'm a big architecture guy. Allegiant Stadium is just beautiful, and SoFi is beautiful in its own right, but I think Allegiant is just way more beautiful.
Yeah, that's just an excuse to go to Vegas and enjoy a Giant game. So
and Tanner, we were supposed to go to Vegas. We were planning on going to Vegas, and then pandemic kind of put that in the kibosh. So
if they're playing in Vegas next year, we're going to that game. I don't know if that's going to be home or away though, but that would be an away game I'd want to go to.
And the home? Did you say the home one?
I mean, Eagles, Cowboys, one of the rivals.
So it would be a division.
I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't know, of those other teams. I mean, the Packers would be cool. Aaron Rodgers, if we play them, if we get that first place schedule. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I'd like to see a division rival.
I agree. Yeah. I concur. So I saw one more question, and I think I'll end it on this because I know Hub's has a Q&A to stream, and I know you are going to be doing Talking Giants pretty soon, right?
10 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, somebody asked earlier, Sam Darnold or Wentz. What I'm going to say, I'm going to phrase it a little bit differently. If Colt McCoy says, hey, I'm retiring after this season, we're going to need a backup quarterback. Do you consider, if those are your only two options, do you consider which one would you take and why?
You said Sam Darnold and Colt McCoy?
Or Jameis Winston, sorry, I meant to say.
Those are our only two options?
Only two options as a backup quarterback.
I can't. I'm not going to give a definitive answer.
So you're saying for the Giants?
For the Giants, you have two options of backup quarterback because somebody asked Jameis Winston or Sam Darnold. Okay. I want to make it a little bit more of an interesting question. So Colt McCoy retires. We need a backup quarterback. Sam Darnold or Jameis Winston. That's your only two choices. Why are you taking either one?
I don't have a definitive answer. I'm going to say whoever has.
Give me a definitive answer, Hub.
Listen,
come on, man.
Listen, if I'm a guy that's going out there, I'm like, I want to win every single game. It's Winston, no doubt. I think Winston is better than Darnold. If I'm thinking like super psychologically, I'm going Darnold because I'm like, Darnold doesn't really have a chance of taking over Daniel Jones's job. Like we were just talking about messing with quarterbacks' heads. I don't want to back up that the starter quarterback, when that backup comes in, they're like, oh my God, if I mess up, this dude legitimately has a chance to take my job. I believe Sam Darnold is less of a threat to DJ's job. But if I'm thinking, I want to win every single game, I'm going Winston.
My answer is neither. I because of what I wouldn't want to screw with Daniel Jones's head. I wouldn't want. I think either one of those guys are fully capable.
I understand what you're saying, but let's just say he was cool with it, and we explained that you are the number one guy. Neither guy is going to take your job. They are strictly your backup. Let's go under that thing? Because I do want a definitive answer to this question.
All right, because I was going to say my dream backup next year is Jacoby Brissett. He's a free agent. He's got experience with Chaplinsky. He's got experience with Judge, and he would know his role. Guys like Winston and Darnold are trying to become starters again. But if I had to pick one, I mean, Winston's had more success in the NFL. Even though Darnold, I still think could be a good quarterback. Winston is, the guy threw 30 touchdowns. He did throw 30 picks. I think I'd go with Winston. Yeah. But I wouldn't want either one as a backup.
Yeah, I feel like they'd be a little bit too much of a threat. I love the Jacoby thing, like you said, because Jacoby knows his role.
Yeah. I just wanted to take that. Frankie G asked that question. I wanted to take it and just spice it up a little bit, just to make it a little bit of controversy, if you will. That being said, though, guys, I'm going to end the stream. I do appreciate Hub and Entertainer coming on. Both these guys have helped me on and off camera numerous times. Without these guys, I simply do not get to 1K. I do appreciate both of you. I appreciate everybody that has joined chat. It's probably one of my most successful things. Maybe every Friday I should do a new milestone live.
Yeah, next week,
all the YouTubers on
1,049 subs next week.
Yeah,
150, bro. It's going to be 150.
1,100. I think after this stream, I'll probably be at 1,100. So that'd be good.
Oh, I do want to say, OGR,
I
I got to congratulate you again, man. I said the same thing to Authentic when he, thanked us over Twitter. I'm like, you would have gotten there either way. You put in a lot of hard work, my guy. I would have been there either way. And you said right before you got into this spiel, I'm not going to go live tonight. I just realized that I have a test that I have to do with the whole, school from home thing. I get my schedules very mixed up as to when I have to do things. So right after this, I'm going to be taking a test.
All right. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
No, listen, man. You should have gotten this milestone much earlier than you did. I mean, you've been on YouTube for a while. You're one of the most educated Giants fans on here. I say it all the time. You and me,
dude. I'm impressed with some of these guys coming up. Like Nate, I'm telling you right now, Nate's great.
Nate's great. But I'm saying, you and me, we agree on most things. So that's why I always like your takes. I think you're really smart Giants fan. I love what you do and. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Congratulations on 1,000, and hopefully by this time next year you're at 100,000.
No, yeah, I wish. But I appreciate it. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna close out the stream like the new way I do now. What you gonna do when OGR, the Hub, and Tana run wild on you, brother?